think these days we all find ourselves overwhelmed. The past no longer predicts the future. The present makes no sense at all. And we all find ourselves in uncharted waters.
Well, what might be a good way for us to get a handle on what is going on?
Well, one way is to see this through a prism, through a metaphor. And for me, not a bad one is the trading metaphor. The market the trader who's trading on the financial markets is sitting in front of a screen. All these events are taking place in front of him. He finds himself having to relate to a chain of unrelated events. First one, then the next, moves him from side to side, and he's constantly finding himself buffeted by fate. No longer, he cannot respond and recover from one before the next one grabs him.
What do people do to make sense of some sort of sense out of all this chaos?
Well, they take courses. They'll at first take one course, then they'll take another. Then they refer to experts, again, following one, then the next. And then eventually they mix and match them, forming a kind of cocktail, which then leaves them in really a kind of a fog where they don't know what they're doing.
How would this translate to what we're all experiencing these days?
Well, when we take a look at what we're encountering, first we had the coronavirus. Then, because of the response to that largely, the economy started to fail. And now, in the midst of all of this, we have the election, which is just adding to this, creating a kind of perfect storm. In the meantime, we have technology racing forward. As much as on the one hand it's very convenient, the problem is that with each advance it's making us more and more redundant. And we're starting to sense that this is not just some sort of interlude, in which case we'd be going back to a norm from the past. We're on a kind of merry-go-round that's spinning faster and faster and starting to get out of control.
Who are the pros in trading?
It's a very good question. So what do the trading pros do that makes sense out of their chaos? Well, I would say the key is that these are the consistent winners. They actually comprise no more than 2% of the population. The people who, week in, week out, month in, month out, are the winners. And therefore they can predict it, they can rely upon it. They are the true professionals.
So what do they know and what do they do?
Well, the main thing they do is that they see the market differently. They see the situation differently. They're able to see deeper patterns which connect the dots. And then they're able to align themselves with the deeper patterns rather than surface events. And this resisting the temptation to move and be swayed by surface events, despite the fact that they know what they're doing and they have a deeper pattern, is still very, very difficult.
All right. How would you summarize all of this for our viewers?
I'd say the key takeaway from this is that the thing that you really need to approach this is one, perspective. Look for a deeper perspective. Don't just take events on the surface as being the be-all and end-all, particularly the way they're presented on the news. And the other thing, too, is once you understand the deeper pattern, with conviction, act. And this is a kind of conviction that only the pro will have and the amateur cannot. And I would say it reminds me of an old motto that, we are all born fools. The trick is not to die one. Thank you.